But I know, like, for people, like, when they're really in it and dark and deep, the last thing they want to hear is someone say, it gets better. Like, fuck you. Fuck you, bitch. I don't feel better right now. I don't feel better.
Yeah.
So the last thing I want to say, it gets better, but I'm just saying, hold on, really hold on, and reach out to somebody. I know that's the last thing you want to do when you're going through your dark, deep shit, but holding it onto yourself and keeping it inside, it just eats you alive.
It's too much.
It's too much for you to go and do it alone and face it alone, because you're not alone. Someone else in this world has gone through or is going through the same feeling as you are right now. Maybe not the same circumstances, maybe not the same exact story, but they definitely experience the same pain. And so knowing that your pain is not alone, that you're not alone in that, like, hopefully will bring you some comfort. And it will let you know that like I've been through a lot of pain with myself, my mental health struggles, but like, to know that like I made it out and not take my life and not do those things, like, man, like I'm glad. I'm so glad I didn't do that, because my mind really wanted me to. My mind really turned against me and really wanted me to not be alive anymore, but I held on and I just, did my best to ignore those dark thoughts and reached out and get support. And eventually that dark voice, it was super loud at one point, sounded like almost like someone screaming it out loud to me. But that dark voice became a whisper. It eventually just became like just whisper, and now it's just kind of like just faded away. And yeah, I think I mentioned it before, but like at moments, sure, at moments that it will pop up here and there maybe, but like, I hate myself.
Yeah. It's okay to feel like that sometimes.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, don't hate yourself. But I'm like, dude,
Nah, it's cool, man.
Human.
It humbles me.
Yeah. You can have days like that. As long as it doesn't overturn your whole life to the point where it's just going in the opposite direction of where you want it to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay to not be okay. It's like we have those moments.
Yeah.
And it just makes us human, but like it becomes problematic when, like you said, it just turns in the opposite direction and it just gets worse and worse, and you're not reaching out to anybody, you're isolating yourself, and you're just keeping everything to yourself and thinking you're alone and no one else could possibly understand what you're going through. Like, it's not true. None of that is true. Someone will understand you. You just have to let them know like what you're going through. If you hold it all inside, no one's ever gonna know. And you keep a smile and pretend and think everything's fine. Yeah. Everyone's gonna think everything's fine. Yeah. That's why people are really shocked when like they find out like their beloved, like whoever, like star or whatever, all these movie stars or any of these famous people like take their lives. They're like, how could they possibly do that? So many people love them and everything.
They lived such a glamorous life. They seemed happy.
Yeah.
You know why? Because they're actors. I mean, they learned how to dissociate with them, be characters. When they're in character, they're in character.
Yeah.
That person's character is like one of itself, and then their emotions and their feelings are another entity. You know what I mean? That's why they're actors. I mean, and that shows they're not connected with themselves, which I've learned is like you have to check in with yourself to make sure that you're in tune with your mind body.
Yeah.
You have to check.
And also, I think it's also important to know, like, never to depend your happiness on external things, like things that are fleeting, things that can let you down. Like if you like put all your hopes and happiness into a person, into a significant other, like that's the only reason why you get out of bed is because of this person. Like, that's not a good.
That's not healthy.
That's not healthy. First of all,
that's coming from someone that's been in a relationship for so long.
Yeah.
Like when I was in a really depressive mode, like Joseph can keep a smile and be supportive for so long. He's only human too.
Mm-hmm.
Like truly, what you said about loving yourself, being empathetic to yourself, being kind to yourself, it's true, because that person, your significant other, can only do so much.
Exactly.
They're gonna have a breaking point too. So you also have to have like that responsibility to care for yourself, because you know you love that other person. You have to love yourself.
Yes. Loving yourself, honestly, is what is the best thing you can do, not only for yourself but for the relationship too.
Yeah.
Because like you said, because they themselves, the other person, can only do so much. And they can only handle so much of your self-loathing, of you like saying like, I hate myself.
Oh yeah.
And them to try to convince you like, why are you saying that? Like, I just hate, for that conversation, and they're like,
they're like, this conversation again.
Yes.
You're like, okay, I'll listen to the first 1,000 hours.
Yes.
After the 1,000 hours,
like, I don't know.
There's got to be some. Yeah, like, what can I do? What can I do?
And then they feel like
drained,
and like, oh well, nothing I do is gonna make them happy. Yeah. I feel like a failure.
Yes,
I feel like I can't do anything. And you're like,
yeah.
Well, now you're both down.
Yes.
Now you're both down.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck. That's like the worst that can happen. Both of you guys are down.
100% true. Yeah.
So it's so important that you find a way to dig yourself out, and not to just depend on other people to get you out of it, but you need to also work on it yourself too. You can't just like lay out all your feelings on somebody and just be like, all right, like, is there any way you can take care of it? Like, it's like, hopefully it helps like to share what you're going through, but it's also important that you also take it as like you go to therapy or whatever, somebody who can give you like proactive steps to get out of your funk, or read books or watch YouTubes, anything.
Like, yeah, we talked earlier about on YouTube. There's this channel that I just came across, and you guys can find some of the videos that I've reposted on our Facebook. But the channel is Therapy in a Nutshell, and I just came across it like last week, and I have been just like absorbing the information from the videos. And she talks about trauma, the reason for trauma, how to let trauma go. There's just so much good information. Anxiety, it just goes in depth, but makes it easy to digest. And they're short videos. I think you guys would really like it. So I'll go put it in the description, but also check out our Facebook, because that's where I put all the meditations that I'm doing that I feel like would be powerful for you guys, or sleeping meditations, relaxing music that I would recommend, and just more things, like things on Netflix. I just recently watched The Mind Explained on Netflix, which I thought was really fun and very educational, and I thought it was just really well done. It helps you kind of like the mind explain. I mean, the mind explain. That's what they do on there. It was really cool. But yeah, like I think it's really important to check out YouTubes and books, and I mean
anything that can get you not focusing on your sadness and darkness, but anything that can help you change your perspective. That's when you resort to these resources.
Yeah. Do you think there's like a safe amount of time where you can have wallow in your self-pity? And
oh yeah,
I mean, like a week, 2 weeks.
It's really hard to put a time frame on it, because everyone, who knows what they're going through.
That's true.
They lost somebody. They lost a loved one.
That's
then
true.
Yes, grief. If you're going through grief and everything because you lost somebody,
it's gonna take a long time.
Yeah, you may never quite heal from losing somebody that you love.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
Like once that happens, it's like it's like an empty. They say it's like an empty hole in you. Like there's just no way to fill it, no matter what, because that person's irreplaceable. Like you can't find another person, and their person not there anymore. So I understand that grief, but if you allow that grief to like stop you from living your life, and that you start to deteriorate yourself and that's when it becomes a problem. That's when it's like you need to be like, so and so would have never wanted me to come to this point.
Yeah.
Like they want me to still live my life. In order to honor their life, I need to live my life.
Yeah.
So that's why it's super important to like you said, mentioned, like do self check-ins with yourself and to see where you're at.
Yeah.
And everything.